Kirsten? Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks. No worries. Okay. Welcome. Thank you for joining this session. My name's Kirsty Brown, or Kirsty Groves Brown, because I've been a consultant for 30 years. I know I don't look that old. And since then I've got married, but everybody knows me as Kirsty Groves, so that's why it's sometimes Kirsty Brown, Kirsty Groves Brown. So welcome to this session. This is about cutting the excessive noise within teams. And I tend to approach and help out with the end user. So I work for quite a number of government departments. I'm into MTAs, so Microsoft Teams adoption, and I build their teams for them and try and make them as appealing as possible, but also give people hints, tips and tricks along the way. So it's not just about currently using Teams, it's understanding what are the quick wins in Teams, trying to sell the application to users. I will attach this presentation to the schedule, so if you do want to go to it, by all means do. I've also started now doing 1-minute top tips on social media. Learning has become go to an hour session, go to a half-an-hour session, and it's too long for people. Some people just want to know a quick 1-minute top tip that's going to help them that day, that week, that month, that year. So they're becoming quite popular. So if you can help me along the way, that would be brilliant, because I've only just started to do them. So moving on then, let's have a look at what we can do in Teams to just quieten our lives down, to make our life a little bit easier. Now, whether that's you as the end user, or if you're supporting your users. So first of all, it's looking at Do Not Disturb. And again, people go, well, we all know how to do that, but hold on, there's multiple ways of doing this. So the first way is then, if my slide appears, we can go, for example, to our profile at the top of Teams, and yes, we can go to our status that's listed here. And when you go there, obviously, you can change your status here. But what a lot of people don't realise also, you've got, for example, duration. So rather than you having to think, oh gosh, I need to switch it back onto available, you could, for example, go into duration and you can customise that duration. You can even go into reset status. That will take it and wipe off everything that you've applied to that status and will just go back and revert to available. But what you can also do, and this is where we go a step further, is that we can go to set status message. And if you can go to that, you've got 280 maximum characters that you can type in. So at least then people understand why you can't be Do Not Disturbed. It really just chews me off when Mark goes, Do Not Disturb. And I think all you're doing is, I don't know, making an egg and tomato sandwich. I need to know the reason why. So that's quite useful. We've also got Show One Message Me, and a lot of people don't realise what this one's about. And this one's about that, you know, when you go into Teams, and if you, for example, personally mention someone, it says just above the compose box, that person's away. That's that, because I've ticked it. So that's really useful. What you can also do is you can clear your status message. So again, to the similar, what we did on the slide before, but again, you can customise when you want that status and that message to be up and within Teams. So simple, but really, really useful. So quick question, and please be honest, did anyone not know you could do all of that? Any? Brilliant, thank you. There you go. You've all learnt one thing, we can all now go home. So, next thing then is looking at notifications. We don't realise how many types of notifications are in Teams. So they can feel quite overwhelming, and certainly when you're concentrating and doing things in Teams and you've just got all of this noise. So what you can do is we've got a whole bunch of them. For example, you've got the banners. Try and say this quickly. It's the purple pop-up box that appears in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Appears for a few seconds, and if you do blink slowly, you might miss it. You've also then got, which is a weird one because you can't customize this in Teams. It's there, whether you like it or not. But if you ever see, for example, a channel in bold, then you know that you've got new content. Now, it could be one new post, it could be 20 new posts, but at least you know that you've got new content in there. You've also got email notifications. To me, sometimes they can be quite irritating, other times they can be quite good, but you can customize this. The Teams app toolbar, which I'm sure you've noticed, you do then get all of your discs on the left-hand side, not necessarily always numbers to say that you've got 2 new posts. It could be you've got an @ symbol, as we have in this example. Somebody has personally mentioned you in one of your teams. You've got your taskbar and activity alerts, and I'm sure we're all used to that, but again, we can customize all of this. And the last one is sounds, and again, you can customize by switching it on or switching it off. So having a look then at customizing your notifications, go to your ellipses at the top of Teams, and you can go into settings. On the left-hand side, 4th option down, you should see then you've got the option of notifications. And if I do click onto that, I have a mass of information in there, and it can be quite daunting for users. So I always say just categorize it, group it, and then it makes life a little bit more simple. But your email, I'm not being funny, but who would want to have an email every 10 minutes? Personal preference. I tend to switch mine on daily. So if I do miss any activity, at least I get that daily one email just to remind me. I've also got appearance and sound, so I do have slider controls, so I can also turn that and turn that off if I want to. I've got teams and channels, and I can go into all activity, mentions and replies. I don't go to that, I always go to custom, and custom will allow you to customize exactly what types of notifications you want for any activity that comes through your teams. Definitely recommend that one. We've also got chat, and that's the one that people miss, and I think it was mentioned in the session before, but meetings and calls. If there are certain notifications you want with regard to calls or meetings, go and have a look at that, go and edit, and again, there's some useful options in there. So, finishing on notifications, what other quick wins do we have? And it sounds a silly one, but a lot of people save their posts. And they save their posts because they want to go back to them at a later time. But have a think about other things that you've got in Teams that you currently use, but could you adapt it and use it for something else? So for example, saving, why not actually use it as the virtual to-do list? So if people are always sending you posts and they're asking you to do things, yes, you can create personal wikis. To me, it's a bit of a faff. Why not actually use the save function and create virtual to-do lists? So for example, I can go to my ellipses in my post that I've received from somebody telling me or asking me to do something. Once I go into that, yes, I can go and save that message, as we're probably all aware. Then once I've done that, and that's recent really, because I never used to do this, if you accidentally do save a message, you can now go back into the ellipses and you can unsave, which I do think is really, really useful. But that's now saved for us to go to. And again, there is a number of ways to do this within Teams. And one way, you could go to your profile picture, you can go into saved. Once you've clicked onto saved, that gives you a list of all of your saved, or in this case, our virtual to-do list. You will also notice when you do click onto any one of those, it temporarily highlights in yellow, just to make you aware that that was your virtual to-do list that you've saved. You'll also notice, and I haven't got it on here, if I have, I don't want to press it, but you've got the little pink bookmark icon just underneath the number 3. And if you do click onto that, that will remove it from that virtual to-do list. So that's quite useful. Food for thought. So going on to commands next, I did warn you this is a quick 25 minutes. Having a look at commands, everybody knows about their search bar, but again, they only use search for searching. There is so much that you can do on that search bar. For example, we do have our commands. So if you type in your / on that command box, that will come up in alphabetical order, all of the commands that we have to save our time within Teams. If you do click onto any one of those, also it will give you a description on the right-hand side. So do have a look at those commands. So thinking about those commands, remember our virtual to-do list, we could have gone to our shortcut, we could have then put in the / and then we could have gone to saved, and that would have also taken me to that saved list. So do have a think about that one, that's really useful. We've talked about do not disturb, but remember I'm going to just stop. Are we recording this? Yes. Oh, well, thank you. The other one then is with regard to, we've looked at our status, we've done all of that. We could have gone in here. Now, what I like about unread, if you want to go to your activity, you would go to activity, you would then go in there, and then you would have to click onto the ellipses to go to unread to see what your unread activity is. Don't need to. Why not come to your command, go to / and do unread, and it does exactly the same thing. So again, people forget about the commands. Have a look at them, really useful. The last one about that, and we looked at our status, we could have done it this way, because we could have then gone into do not disturb command, and then we could have also changed it to available. So again, it's just thinking of different ways of doing things within Teams. So talking about do not disturb them, let's say, Mark, I need to speak to Mark. I might be working on something and I need Mark to interrupt me. He's got vital information. Then what I can do is I can set priority access in Teams. And that will allow me to, yes, still put do not disturb on, but allow certain people to interrupt me. So to do that, I go to my ellipses on my title bar. I go to settings. And once I've gone to settings, I then go to the option of privacy. Once I've gone to privacy, that will then allow me to manage my priority access. And when I go to that, that will then allow me to literally type in somebody's name or number to put them into that list of managed priority access. And I can have multiple people if I want to. As soon as I do that, then that person will then be listed in there, or those multiple people would be listed.
You block people as well?
I can block people if I want to, and he's the first one I would block. Yeah. So chats. I really like this, and this is where some people go, oh my golly, did not realise. So we've all used chats, we all know chats, so I'm not here to bore you about chats, but there's a few options that people do overlook and don't use, and can you save you time? For example, hands up if you do all of this, you can go to your chat, you can click onto your filter icon, and then what you can do is you can filter by name. So I've got loads of chats, I've got loads of different chats, group chats, and a single chat with a one-to-one chat with Mark, and I'm looking for a specific chat. I could scroll up and down quite painfully, but it's taken some time. Whereas if I typed in Mark's name now, and then typed in his name, in my results, that's only going to give me all the chats with Mark. Useful, but hold on, step further. Because that's where people stop. Why not then go to the ellipses once I've then filtered on Mark, and then say, okay, show me all my muted chats with Mark, show me all the meetings with Mark. Again, really simple, but can save you so much time. So who uses all of that? No, there you go. Next one then. Chat, I love this one, and this is so simple. So you know when you look in the list view and you've got all of your different types of chats and your meetings go in there, a whole range of different things. Did you know all the symbols that you see to the left of your chat represent something? Some of us will, some of us won't. For example, that one's a pretty easy one. If you have a meeting icon to the left of your chat, you know that's a meeting that you've retrospectively attended. But if you have a picture of one person, that is visually telling you that is the one-to-one chat. If you have a chat with two people, that's yourself and two people. So it's a group chat, but only three of you. If I then have more than, or should I say 3 people in my picture, that means that's my group chat. I could have 4 people, I could have 100 people. But that's visually showing me a group chat. But the next one is the one that people don't realise. Mark's getting on my nerves, so I need to mute that chat. So what I can do is I can mute it. But if I forget it's muted, and then Mark does add new chat, as in content in that chat, I may then see I get a little black dot on that particular icon. And that's telling me that I've got new content in a muted chat. So it's just a visual. Really useful. Did anyone know about that one? There you go, that's good. That's what I like to hear. Searching. So again, we can go to the search bar. Yes, we can search. We all know that. You can type in a keyword. You can type in keywords. What a lot of people are not aware of, and there's two ways you can do that. If I'm in a particular channel, I'm in a particular chat, and there's content that I know in that chat or that post, but I just can't find it, and I don't want to be scrolling up and down, what I can do is look only within that chat or only look within that channel. And you can either press Control and F on your keyboard, or you can use that command of /find. But as soon as you do that, in this case it's in a chat, I'm now looking in Mark Thompson chat, and now I can type in a keyword or keywords. And that's now going to only filter those words within that location I'm in. So it's a really quick, really easy one. And there you go, there's the results. We've also then got search operators, and this is the one that, again, people forget. We all know about search operators, but do you necessarily use them within Teams? So what you can do is, for example, if you put your quotation marks by your keyword or your keywords, then you're going to get the exact words or phrases within that particular search. We could use, for example, the minus sign. So find the word Teams, but don't look for the word guide if it's in that particular document. We could also type in what extension we want. So is it a Word document? Is it an Excel workbook that we're looking for? Again, just filters down your search and just makes life a little bit easier. We've also got the last one, which I do like, will allow you to do, in effect, multiple searches. So the brackets will allow you to do multiple searches. So again, yes, this isn't mind-numbing stuff that I'm showing you. We probably all know it, but are we really using it in Teams? And that's what I'm trying to get across to my end users. So I've finished, but I haven't finished. And what I mean by that is I've got one slide if you've got anything that you want to ask, if you've got any quick wins that you want to share, but I do have two Brucey bonus slides if we don't go through all of the time with the questions. So does anybody have a question? Have you learned anything? Is there anything that you want to tell us about, a nugget of information? If not, it's Brucey bonus time. Brucey bonus. The only thing is I'm a bit worried because you're all going to think it's amazing, and it's not. But there you go. No questions, everyone's okay. Right, Brucey bonus time then. You asked for it. End users then. Loads of people don't realise this. If you go to Teams and right-hand click, did you know that you have all of those options? So rather than you having to go and find your status, you don't have to. Just right-click, you can change your status. If you want to create a new chat, guess what? Right-click New Chat. Again, really simple, but you don't have to find any of that functionality in Teams. You literally just right-hand click on that particular icon. Who uses that? A few of you. Okay, no. It's not just someone points out, which is normally the obvious, because we do it for other icons. We just don't think of doing it for Teams. So, you're the Brucey bonus. Now, I have to say I love this, and some people go, Kirsty, you're really sad because it's not that exciting. I find it exciting. I apologise that you've had to listen to my voice, and I don't like my voice. So what you can do is, you know when you use, if you do use calls, we've got our voicemail in Teams. You can record a greeting. We've done that for years on our mobile phone. You record your greeting. But did you know that if you go to your ellipses, and then go into settings, last option down on the left-hand side, you should see that you've got calls. And if I go to calls, I can configure my voicemail. Now, recently, configure voicemail has also appeared in the bottom left-hand corner of calls itself, but I've gone the long way, the old-fashioned way. But what I do have is the option for text-to-speech. I think this is brilliant. So no longer do I have to record my greeting. If I'm going to be on holiday next week and there's a certain person covering me, or there's some information I want to get across, I can type in that message straight away, and on my voicemail, a robot will read that text message. Then I come back and I want to put another message in because I'm away for half a day, but I will be back at 1 o'clock. Again, I can just type that in and a robot robot will read that on the voicemail. Really useful. Nobody has to painfully listen to my voice, and I can change and customize that as many times as I want. Has anyone used that before? Did you know it was there? There you go. So I have rushed through it, actually. I was concerned about time, but does anybody have any questions, anything you'd like to ask?
So there's a break of 15 minutes, so you've got a little bit longer.
Oh, okay.
We'll cut you off at the beginning. So
Mind blowing, I didn't know half of that stuff. And it reminded me of learning Excel years ago. You know, everybody learned to use Excel from the person that they were sitting next to. And, you know, nobody starts off knowing any commands, and then you discover F4 and you go, oh my God, my life is
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. And I think I'm realising, because my organisation, although I'm a Teams rooms specialist from a hardware background,
Yep.
I joined the organisation in the middle of COVID. The organisation fell into Teams. It was, you know, there wasn't a decision they made. It's just the only thing they had.
Yep.
And we don't use Teams. We only use chat. And because nobody understands it. And of course now, a year and a half, 2 years of not using it properly, there's a lot of, some bad feeling, but certainly absolutely zero knowledge of any of that.
Yeah.
So I feel there's a lot of weight on my shoulders now to go and take it back. Anyway, it wasn't really a question, but...
No, so if I can answer that in a couple of sentences, really. So the first one is, that's why I'm quite passionate. So I'm not a geek or conehead, I call myself. I'm not a conehead. I'm not up there. I'm more interested that selling the application to users, because if your organisation is spending so much on this upgrade and getting everyone upgraded, but nobody's really bought into using the product, I don't see the point. I really don't. I think it's a waste of money. So for me to grab in the end users and for them to leave and go, oh my golly, I can't wait to use this product, then I feel I've done my job. And it's doing these, did you know it can do this? Did you know it can do that? Hence the reason why I've started now doing my 1 minute top tips. I want to grab people. So that's the first sentence, and thank you. And the second one is, just to explain my background then, I'm a consultant and I have been for 30 years. So I do things myself, obviously what I'm doing with my 1 minute top tips, but I'm also part of the Inform team and I consult for them regularly. So if you want to perhaps speak to them about us delivering some training or doing top tips or marked as evergreen sessions, it doesn't have to be your old-fashioned training anymore, because I don't think that necessarily works, then please feel free to scan in that QR code. We're here to help, and I don't get commission for saying that. So I think I'm finished. The last thing I would say is, and this is the first year I've presented, there's an evaluation form.
Yeah, it's on the Just Attend app.
Yeah, so if you,
Just Attend app, your fun session, you can,
if you could do that, because I actually would like to come back next year and get some more new swag. So that would be really good. There you go. So thank you very much for the time. Yeah, please. Thank you.